Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Motor Mouth, brought to you by the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. I'm Kendra, and this is...
Oh, Dan. I'm Dan.
Sometimes he forgets his name, I gotta give him a minute. So we are standing in the Boyertown Museum Gallery. We're standing by one of our really super cool buildings that we have on display. Yes, we have entire buildings even on display. This is our gas station from the 1920s, and I understand, Dan, that you're going to tell us a little bit more than it's just a gas station from the 1920s.
Right, I am.
So please do.
Okay, okay. First of all, I have to tell you how I started, how I came up with this idea, okay? I think I told you before.
I don't think you did.
Okay, you get these phone calls like on your cell phone, okay? And you look and it says, some weird thing from some town you never heard of.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, this morning I got one, and it was so interesting I had to write it down. I wasn't going to talk about it. So I got a call, I did not answer it though, from Smucker Simon of Horse Cave, Kentucky. And I'm thinking, where do they
never
come
get
up?
names.
Yeah, well, I do, and they're all really odd things.
You're
like this.
lucky. I don't get.
Okay, but anyway,
Come on, Smucker, call me.
About 2 months ago, I was getting a whole rash of these, and on my phone it said potential spam, and it was Rochester, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
So Rochester, Pennsylvania, for those of you who are feverishly pulling out your atlas and trying to figure out where it is, you don't have to, okay?
We're going to tell you.
It's north of Pittsburgh. It's right on the Ohio River, okay? Like between Pittsburgh and Ohio, West Virginia, where they all come together, okay? Why Rochester, Pennsylvania, to prompt me to talk about this? We have 2 gas pumps here. They were made in Rochester, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Yes, they were.
They were. Yep. Okay.
I had to feverishly dig out my atlas when we got these because I didn't know where Rochester was.
Yeah, and it's just some little dinky nowhere town. Well,
but a lot of spam callers live there.
Yeah, there's a lot of spam callers. So anyway, so I'm going to be talking about these pumps in a little bit. There's a lot of stuff to cover, as everything is in this building. Okay. Yep. First of all, something about Sunoco. This is the Sunoco station. 1921 it was built. And it's, from what I understand, it's always been selling Sunoco gas. Okay. It started in Strausstown, Pennsylvania, which is kind of the other side of Reading. And if you go down the main street of Strausstown, there's like a small empty lot. That's where this is. And we have a picture somewhere. It's probably in there or over there. And it shows it in that lot, and there's this building in the back. I'm pretty sure that building is still there.
Really?
It's an old one. But where this was is just a small empty lot, and you could just picture this kind of there in the corner and stuff. And I was through there a week and a half ago, and that empty lot is still an empty lot. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it had somebody's car was parked there. So anyway, so this was in Strausstown. We found it in Charlottesville. That's where the former Roadside America is, and it was in between those 2 locations. It was parked out in the field. It was being used as, I don't know, I heard like a house for goats, and I've also heard a rabbit hutch.
I was going to say,
so
bunny house.
It was used
bunny
to
hutch.
House animals in some field.
Yes.
And somebody even told me where that field was.
In poor condition. Yeah.
And so a gentleman bought this, and he restored it pretty much like you see it now. And, we found it. It was sort of starting to get faded looking, and we brought it in here. We, spiffed it up quite a bit, and now we have it. So anyway, couple quick things about Sunoco, being this is a Sun Oil Company dealer. It was founded in 1886 by two guys called Joseph Pugh and Edward Emerson. And they decided to get, they were in the gas business. I assume that's natural gas when they said that. So they wanted to get in the oil business. So they started, buying and selling crude oil. 1890, new name called the Sun Oil Company. The 20s opened up its first gas station in Ardmore, which is a suburb of Philly. 1937, they built a big catalytic cracking plant down in Marcus Hook, and I think they still have stuff down there, Sunoco, Marcus Hook, which is along the river somewhere. In the 50s, they expanded into Canada and Venezuela, and they stayed in Venezuela until their government kind of took over everything down there. 1960s, 1950s had a custom blending pump, and I remember them as a little kid. Those custom blending where you could blend them into
fancy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So different octanes. That's what I was trying to think of. Okay. I also remember the gas pumps. They had a little, and it wasn't just Sunoco, it was all of them. They had this little glass, half a ball in the front, and as it's pumping, you'd see something spinning around inside.
Oh, that's cool.
And the Sunoco ones were blue and yellow. This little spinner in there. So that was it. Yeah, Gombis Sunoco was the name if you're taking notes. Middlesex, New Jersey. Okay, anyway, that was in the 50s and 60s. They got into the motorsports scene. If you're into racing, Roger Penske, very heavily into it. Mark Donahue, they had the Sunoco Camaros that they were running roughshod over everybody else there. Today, Sunoco distributes fuel to over 5,000 gas stations located in more than 30 states. So they've been pretty good business. Okay, they're also involved with other things. I had it here, but I erased them because it wasn't that pertaining to what I'm talking about. Okay, so this gas station here, I have to talk to you about this building itself. Okay, now you think a small building like this, especially in downtown Strausstown, the guy would just build something. But no, you could order these, and this is a Arthur B. Shepherd building, okay? They were architects and manufacturers of steel buildings. This is a steel building. And if you could like knock on this pillar right here, right there. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's...
Hold on, I'll get my mic closer.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell it's metal. And this is a galvanized metal here. When we got it, some of the paint was peeling. We had to repaint it, and there was rust. No, the galvanized steel wasn't rusting, but it was some of the hardware was rusting. So we had to replace this. We repainted the whole thing. Did the striping here. I remember that was quite a search trying to get the striping right here and up here.
But it looks so cool.
It is. There's neat lights up here under the roof here, and you look at the roof itself has it looks like that Spanish tile, but it's really metal tile
it's
stamped
very
like
decorative.
That.
It's not just a flat.
And this would have all come from the Shepherd buildings. It says they were designed for the company that wants a modern station building architecturally correct, pleasing to the eye of the approaching motorist, and efficient from the standpoint of selling gasoline and motor oils. Okay, that came from their advertisement. At that time, there was over 40 standard types of Shepherd buildings, anywhere from $800 to $3,500. Okay, and they weren't all little buildings. They were big, like warehouses or airplane hangars and garages and so on and so forth. And they told that they could be finished to incorporate owners' ideas of roofing, siding, windows. The roofs could be tile, clay, or metal. Okay, copper, zinc, galvanized steel, or asbestos shingle. The sidewalls could be brick, stucco, zinc, heavy galvanized steel. Again, this has the galvanized steel. The windows could be polished plate glass, leaded glass, DA glass, which I don't know what that is.
DA.
Steel or wood sash, which is this, and I'm thinking this is steel here, okay? With or without canopy. So, you know, you look at the old gas stations that have the building and you have a canopy going out to the gas pumps out there, yeah. And yeah, you see them, if you travel around the country, you see them. So anyway, this company, I don't know when it started, but in 1924, they moved to Irvington, New Jersey. They had a plant in Cleveland, and that's where the headquarters used to be. So that's pretty much about these buildings right here. Now, let's talk about the pumps, okay? These are Fry Guaranteed Visible Pump by the Guaranteed Liquid Measure Company, Rochester, Pennsylvania. Buy from a Fry, there's one close by. That was their logo. And if you can see on the front, it says visible in vertical lettering there, okay? And so that was them. And I think, and then down below it says Fry and such. It started out, the Fry Glass Company from that same area made glass cylinders as well as famous Fry dishes and glassware. And yes, I went on eBay, and no, I did not buy any, but I wanted to see what kind of stuff. And
I bet it would go really nice with my Boutonware.
I'm sure it would, yeah. So anyway, that was that. 1916 or 1918, I saw both dates here. The Guaranteed Liquid Measure Company was established, okay, from the Fry Glass Company. 1916, it said the main features are the visibility of the pump, enabling customer to see that he is getting accurate measure at all times, and the elimination of all hand pumping by the use of an electric motor or gas engine installed inside the building. Actually, that's 1916. So I said 1918 before, just ignore that part, okay? So that was the Guarantee Liquid Measure Pumps. 1922, the Fry name was added. During the 1920s, there was this guy, and you're seeing the advertisements for him. His name is Jimmy the Courtesy Man. Who he is, I don't know. But anyway.
Courteous?
Yeah, he's courteous. And then it says, Jimmy is a producer. Jimmy's smile is the smile of a producer, for he is daily producing added gallonage for thousands of Fry-equipped service stations throughout America. Fry and Jimmy are now bywords for greater profits. Are you using this combination to full advantage?
Are you?
There you go.
Are you using this combination?
So it said millions of Fry pumps were made with the accurate measuring guarantee. Okay, now I am going to hopefully figure this out, not figure it out, but have Kendra sort of demonstrate on how we would pump this. And I mentioned here in 1916, they're talking about an electric motor or gas engine that would be mounted inside the building. Now, if you look at this, there's a handle on the side, and that would be used for pumping the gas by hand, which is really interesting because I've seen other advertisements in the teens, and none of them had the handle. So it's almost like they came with the motorized one before, and they were replaced with, I don't know. So anyway, so if you wanted, let's say 3 gallons of gas, okay, I'm Mr. Motorist, I want 3 gallons of gas.
Okay.
And so the attendant will open that up, and you can see there's a handle there, and you just lift that to the 3-gallon spot, and you click it into place there. Okay, now, I don't know if you noticed this when she was lifting, and it's hard to see the way this is, but there's a pipe inside the glass cylinder, the top, okay, up in here, and it raises up, and that pipe is raised at the 3-gallon level. This is a 5-gallon pump here. And so it's set at that, then the operator, Kendra in this point, would be pumping with this handle here back and forth, and it's pumping from the storage tank, wherever that would be, and it's coming up through that pipe, or wait a minute, yeah, it's coming up through, I'm I'm trying to think how that is. It's just coming up here and it's going up. Once it hits that 3-gallon thing, then it overflows into that pipe and goes back down. So your level would be 3 pumps or 3 gallons.
And you can see that you can see the gas rise because it's a clear cylinder. Well, it's tinted, but you can see. So you can actually be sure that you're actually getting the gas that you're paying for.
So it was an accurate thing, and I think they advertise that in here also. Okay, so once it's up to the gallonage you want, again, 3 gallons, you would take the hose here and you would put it in your gas tank. And then when everything is settled, then you just open the valve and by gravity would go down into your gas tank. Now we used to have our Model T was parked next to here and their gas tank's under the front seat. So we had the front seat cushion off and they had this going in, which is kind of interesting because people don't realize, okay, that's where the gas tank is.
Taking a ride on the gas tank.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so that was a couple interesting little stories there. So I believe ours is a Model 17 here. They had all different models. Of course, they had the 5-gallon and the 10 gallons were the big ones, but then they had other ones. You know, I mentioned there's a motorized one also. It says, it didn't take the world long to discover that the Fry Guaranteed Visible Pump always delivers an automatically accurate gasoline purchase. An overflow patented device is the reason. So that pipe in the middle is the overflow. And then it also said, instantly you will see how simple and how positive it is. Here is a visible container and inside is a measuring tube which works up and down. So as Kendra demonstrated there, you put the control handle in the measuring stop, which fixes the top of the overflow pipe exactly opposite of the proper calibration. You then fill the measure until it overflows. It overflows at each gallon. The measurement is therefore always the same. So that's pretty much what that tank's about. And again, it's difficult to see inside of the glass cylinder there, which means you as a visitor have to come and look at it for yourself.
Close up.
And it still is difficult to see. It's just, that's the nature of it.
Yeah, that like wire cage around it sort of blocks your view a little bit.
So I'm thinking if it was half full of fuel, you could see that probably pretty easy. And so you have to come and you have to see our gas station. I think because of COVID, this door is closed, but when we were we had it roped off. You could actually go inside. There's a lot of Sunoco products there and stuff.
Just other little stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like the stove.
Yeah.
Little stove in there and radio and things like that.
And also over to my right here, we have some Bowers batteries, which were locally made also. And that's kind of a cool little thing. So that's pretty much that. But there's a couple other little
always
tidbits.
A but with us, isn't there?
Couple little tidbits here. The hose on this, I saw an advertisement for the hose. It's called Triplex, Triplexd.
No.
People had trouble spelling back. Okay, made by the Metal Hose and Tubing Company out of Brooklyn. And their advertisement, they would show this hose you can make into a knot. But they had Fry Pump as the recipient of that. There was that, and I found out another thing. On our Daniels, one of our Daniels has a trunk in the back. And I opened that up, like a steamship liner trunk.
Not like actually part of the car. It was
Right.
a trunk strapped to the back.
And I opened it up and there was cases inside and stuff. And they came from the Eagle Lock Company out of Terryville, Connecticut. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay. Of course, I have to look up this Eagle Lock Company out of Terryville. And it has nothing to do with
Anything.
what we've been talking about here. But Eagle made trunks, and it was like the world's largest company, that made that kind of stuff at the time. Somewhere in I think the 40s. It got bought out by a company called Bowser Incorporated out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Bowser, who made gasoline pumps. See how it all connects, okay?
Yes.
And I thought that's interesting. And it's kind of interesting because trunks and gas pumps are, they're not the same. But
yeah,
anyway,
who knows?
but one last thing, and I heard this online about a week ago. Do you know the average attendance span is 8 seconds?
Wow. That doesn't shock me really, but.
But you know what that means? Okay, the average attention span is 8 seconds. So that means if our viewers are still watching, they're above average.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay, that's it.
All right.
I'm done.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for learning more about our gas station with us. And we will see you next time, and pick something else in the collection to kind of do a little deep dive on. And in the meantime, please come visit us. Thank you.